Hello, parents. Welcome to AP Art and Design. My name is Miss Rush, and I'm going to walk you through the course tonight to let you get more familiar with the course and what's expected of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what we're going to be up to. Okay. So here's my email here. You can get a hold of me, or your son or daughter can get a hold of me there. However, we also have Zoom classes, which is great. It's good to ask questions in class and kind of get things worked out there. It's so much more difficult to kind of type like responses to artwork. It's better when we can kind of go back and forth in person. So before we dive into the class, I thought it'd be good if you got to know who I was so you can have a better understanding of kind of where I'm coming from and my experience, and just get to know me a little bit. Your son or daughter is going to be with me for an entire year. I've been teaching for 24 years. I had the awesome opportunity of opening West Ranch. I was previously at Saugus, and I was recruited to be the Fine Arts Department chair when West Ranch opened. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity for a teacher. I teach all levels of art. I teach AP Art History, I teach AP Art and Design, and I teach Art 1A and 1B. I've taught all levels. In my spare time, I travel and like to visit art museums and see artworks in person, and I'm also very active. So here are some artworks. I teach art history and I AP art history, and my goal is to see all the pieces that we have to study for AP College Board. So I'm trying to make my rounds to see all them in person. This was an artwork in Dusseldorf where it was an installation and you got to climb inside of this. It's one of the coolest, most interesting and kind of exhilarating art experiences I ever had. And then I also make work. I try to exhibit artwork once a year. I make that a goal of mine. And I combine drawing and painting and screen print together, and I fragment imagery. And then these are just some things. I like to bike, I like to hike, I snowboard. And when I'm originally from New York, but I grew up in Chicago. And when I moved to Los Angeles 21 years ago, it was always my dream to do the kind of California kind of cliche or dream is like beach, being three ecosystems, like beach, mountains, desert, all in one day. So 2 years ago, surfing in Santa Monica, and then went to Big Bear for the final last day of skiing, snowboarding there, and then Palm Desert for a hike. So AP Art Design was just redesigned last year, and there are so many things that I think are awesome about it. There's some things that I'm kind of missing, but I'm going to be incorporating that in with it. So here are the changes. New and improved. First, it got a new name. It used to be AP Studio Art forever, and then they changed the name to AP Art and Design. Before, we had 24 images, and it was made up of something called breath and something called concentration. Breath was in the fall, students would come in, I would do the projects, and they would just kind of, I'm like, okay, this week we're focusing on this, next project we're doing this. So it really gave students a variety of different opportunities and ways of working and different materials. And then the second part was concentration, and they would make 12 pieces around one concept and develop 12 pieces around that. Changed a little bit. Now breath is not existent. However, I'm doing a couple breathy projects in the beginning. They announced 24 images, they make 15 images. And then they also have to turn in something called quality, which is their best of, and that comes from these 15 images. It can come from other places as well. And the focus is on, now the focus is on, emphasis is on practice, the experimentation and revision of their work. Also the synthesis of materials, processes, and ideas. And then writing becomes kind of important. So here are some things that I wish wasn't. The writing, I think for a lot of times is maybe not an artist's strength, but it is something that's important. So we are going to be writing all year. So it's broken up into two parts, the sustained investigation and the selected works. The sustained investigation, the 15 images, a series of work around one visual compelling visual concept. And these demonstrate, again, what I just said on the previous page. It's interesting skills, which used to be, very important in AP is not as important as it used to be. So that's kind of interesting. And I do have to say, I'm just going to tangent. Like our students have always been very successful in AP art. We've always had a consistent like 90 in the 90% percentile range, which I think nationwide it's like in the 70s. So our students are, that's a true testament to their talent, their hard work. The selected works can come from the 15 pieces. It can also come from maybe outside work. Maybe they did a piece that was super, super good quality and they want to submit that. So these 5 works can come from the 15 or outside. And we're doing some breathy stuff now, some breath projects now, which I think I could imagine some of what we do now could be some people's quality pieces. Okay, some course expectations. This is just kind of across the board. All district and school rules and digital policies will be followed. Be on time to all Zoom sessions. Course grades will consist of projects and concepts or sketches and concept development. Definitely outside work is required. I'm experiencing this already. I'm noticing that for this first project we're doing these large 18 by 24 charcoal drawings of plants or flowers, and we're doing these kind of close-ups of them. And I think like in school, if I saw them every day, it would be maybe 6-hour long. It was first period, it was like hour-long classes, where now it's taking us a little bit longer. I just don't have that time. So we're definitely need to spend some time outside of class. And then the big picture, and I think this is just for everybody, I'm just trying to have a positive and forgiving attitude. Like we're all kind of figuring this year out. It's still kind of new curriculum for me. This is my second year. It is the second year AP has it, but just with technology and teaching online. And then the selected works are those 5 pieces that come from there. Okay, let's go into, I thought looking at some artwork would be the most helpful. So these are some previous ones from other years that students did. And this would be like the concentration or the sustained investigation, where they pick one concept and they make, pieces 12, or now we're doing 15 pieces around this. This student was really interested in social media and technology. This was made several years ago, and how we kind of get intertwined by it as time goes on, and how people aren't really that connected. They're in these same spaces, but they're not talking to each other. I had another student who, as a freshman, I had him for 4 years. He came in and he's like, I want to be an architect. And he ended up going to San Luis Obispo for architecture, which is actually a really good school for that. But he made a whole portfolio. This is his junior year portfolio that he did on architecture. And then his senior year, he did work in portraiture. This is another student who, he was kind of a writer, and he wrote this story about this winged creature, this male creature. And he was like kind of the rise, the fall, and then the redemption of this figure. Here's another one that another story that a person wrote about all of these heads that, we all had these kind of monitor heads, and then these kind of, it was really dark. And then here's another one. The student just had a really strong style. And I think that's kind of the goal, is to, what AP wants students to do is really find their own personal voice, to see what they're excited by and get good at that. So that is how I am. I feel like I'm more like a coach or like a mentor. At this level, we don't get to, because of time, we don't get to practice materials together. Like, when a student has me for a beginning class, we get a new material, we practice, we do an exercise, and then we do the project. Where now these students are really, they're good at making work. So now it's like finding what they're excited about and helping them get better at what they do. And then last year, I just wanted to share one portfolio with you. At the end of the year, after we took the AP exam, I had all the students create a digital portfolio that they could walk away with. I mean, this is an awesome thing. The students really liked it. They made these portfolios that they can kind of take with them, and then I had them submit them. And this one was done by Isabella. I don't think it has all of her artwork in it, but She started off with her sustained investigation. You have to write about your work, and you always start off with a question. You have an inquiry statement, and then you have to kind of see if you can solve it as you go through. So, and then she's putting in her materials and her processes that she's working on, but you can see a picture of the artwork. And then she was dealing with like consumerism and how it kind of affects us, like how we get there are some people, yeah, like this bag is kind of sucking in, like it's hard for a person to breathe. She deals with a lot of text and imagery. She did a lot of collage. Um, and here's another one with like, yeah, she's got text and yeah, kind of drawing along with kind of mixed media work. These beads that are kind of, you know, wrapping around her and then coming off and becoming like this snake. And then again, more collage, and they're all logos. And then this is a watercolor piece. And then for her selected works, she chose her best of pieces. And it's interesting because when I look at this, these would not be the 3 best ones that I would choose. Again, this isn't her entire portfolio, but these are the ones that she picked. And it's funny, I had her for 2 years, and I think I would have chosen some other, even though those were great. And then I always have the students write advice to future AP students. So this is kind of the whole portfolio that they make at the end of the year. And then what I wanted to do is just to share with you a couple more slides. What can you do to help your students be successful? Ask your artist, ask your son or daughter to present and explain their work to you. If they can talk about it and you're able to ask them questions, that just helps them get to know their artwork better. And any way that they can get to know their work better, because sometimes like artists are really intuitive. Some artists are really intuitive, and some are like thinkers and planners, and then there's everything in between. And I think if you're not a thinker and planner, like it can be really helpful to have to share and explain and show your work. So anytime they can talk about it and they can manipulate it and start to see their work with from a different perspective will help them. Provide feedback about their sustained investigation. That will be the majority of the work we're working on. We're doing some breath stuff now to get them kind of, you know, warmed up and giving them different experiences. Definitely anticipate work outside of class. We're not going to get it done with our 2 days and a half on Wednesday. And of course, always be the positive and supportive parents that you are. You guys have, you know, you already do that. And then I just wanted to share a couple slides on the careers in visual art and design. They're definitely on the rise. Jobs in the creative fields will be rising, and due to the increase in demand for animation, visual effects, and video games, movies, television, and on smartphones. As companies increase their digital presence, more artists and designers will be needed to give form and expression to cultural content and who interpret the world in which we live. Like everything you look at is designed. Our phones, our glasses, the clothes we wear, our, you know, we go to movies, billboards, products, everything is my chair I'm sitting in. Careers in the visual arts, there's a ton of options in here, whatever area that they're interested in. And then I really like this quote about STEM to STEAM, and art is a key to building a strong economy. This comes from the Huffington Post, and it said, creativity will always be America's secret sauce. What is missing from traditional STEM approaches is what has always been the secret sauce to American progress: creativity. When we think about the success of the American auto industry or in its heyday, or Apple's present success, it's because both pioneered taking a product that was purely functional and made it desirable. Both took a piece of technology and provided artistry. So it's not just about something functioning, but it's about something that is beautifully made and works really well. I mean, I can't think about anything more than like our phones and how the, you know, how it's like a connection, an extension of us. 72% of employers say that creativity is of concern when hiring, and 85% of those same employers say they can't find the creative applicants that they're seeking. So I think anyone that can, you know, there's definitely a world to I'm going to stop share here. A world of, lots of disciplines that you can do. And again, I think living in Los Angeles, we live in the most creative city in the country, arguably. So lots of great jobs here. Anyway, so I hope that gave you a little bit of insight. And if you have any questions, please email me and reach out to me. I'm always excited to hear from parents. And thank you so much for taking the time and staying with me through this. Okay, let's look forward to a great year. Thanks.